We all know and have seen a strong connection between visions and their elements, linking to what they represent in terms of ambitions, dreams, and even the character's insecurities. Such as Pyro having a strong theme of passion, devotion, and a drive to succeed, and more. With that in mind, have you ever wondered what would our beloved characters be like in an alternate timeline or universe had their vision been of a different element? How different would they truly be? Well, let's go through the looking glass and see for ourselves today. We will look at Ganyu if she was in fact Pyro, not Cryo. But first, before we begin though, if you enjoy Teyvat's Facts and Wisdom, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. After the video is over, join us over in our community Discord server, where we talk all about Genshin, including lore. We're also going to be streaming on YouTube Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. PST. But anywho, with that said, let's open the Teyvattionary and see what's been uncovered. So, starting off, Ganyu is still the child of a human and an Adeptus, born around the same time, December 2nd, just like our Cryo Ganyu. But there are key differences as her father is a Dragon Adeptus, not a Coco Goat. Her father, whom for the sake of this we shall dub Fang, was a rash and boisterous Adeptus, and Ganyu was his pride and joy, his most precious treasure. Fang is very close friends with the prime of the Adepti, Morax. Children, however, were a rare thing to happen for the Adepti, so Ganyu was loved and treasured by many, especially when entrusted to Cloud Retainer. Ganyu remained a bubbly and sweet little girl growing up with her father after losing her mother at such a tender age. Her father, the Adepti, and Morax were all she knew. Humans made no sense to her, even after she encountered one. "Mortals are weak and fragile things. Ganyu, do not be like them," her father would always tell her. "But how can I be strong like you and our Lord, Father?" she asked one day. "Find your own way. Find what it means to be an Adeptus. Your most noble of heritage shall be your guide," was Fang's answer. Little did he know that would spire on the next string of events. At only the age of 10, Ganyu landed herself into a dangerous situation. Misfortune bore its fangs, as a malicious monster locked her in its sights. Fang, along with Morax, arrived on the scene, swift to reach out and protect Ganyu, but it did not come without a cost. Before her eyes, the evil being slayed her father brutally as he protected her from a blow meant for her. Fury, disbelief, rage, anguish were that boiled her blood, as her father's polearm had landed just inches away from her. Then something just snapped, like a Super Saiyan transformation. Ganyu grabbed the polearm, and before their eyes, a vision of Pyro appeared. The battle turned in Ganyu's favor, as she sought her revenge against this monster. In a brilliance of a fiery inferno, a lash and a plunge of her father's spear, making her send a charging dragon of fire that reduced the monster to ash. Ganyu was not the same after that day, for strife was now her friend, and what she craved. She lived for the thrill of the chase, the hunt, the battle. It made her dragon blood sing in primal glee. The Adepti raised her in the stead of her late father. Guizhong and Morax especially became the closest thing to family she had along with Cloud Retainer. This drove her to be rather protective. But her temper and reckless behavior did not dull with time. If anything, it had grown worse. Fast forward, and she assigned a contract to protect and serve Liyue under Morax as the Archon War had reached a fever point. The battlefield was her playground, her enemies, her toys, as she would taunt and mock them. Her brilliant burning lotus flowers are a sight to behold, and her swift and aggressive fighting style is a near if not close match for the Yakshas that had joined recently. The young Yaksha, Xiao, and later Pervases, became her closest friends. The trio almost never far away and were a force not to be messed with, as Xiao, with his swiftness, and Ganyu with her Pyro, provided the cover Pervases needed to perform his cryo healing and support. But then, the disaster of Guili Assembly happened, and Ganyu once again felt the pain of loss. Losing the one she looked up to like an aunt, Guizhong was dead. Sadly, in one battle, her friend Pervases did not survive. A familiar ache and anger growing that drove her to become part of the Millelith, rapidly becoming the head of Liyue's military. Fast forward to the events of the Liyue Archon quest, and Traveler begins to flee the scene. That is when we meet Ganyu. "Stop right there! How dare you murder Rex Lapis!" she snarled, blocking the Traveler's path with the ring of her Pyro Lotus flowers, her father's polearm in hand. "You mortals are all the same, and I will not permit you to harm Liyue or the Adepti." "But we didn't do anything," Traveler protested. It was then a blast of animo, causing her lotuses to burst into steam, that a ginger-haired adventurer from Snezhnaya appeared. "Hurry this way," he called, helping the Traveler escape. "Get back here! You're not escaping from me!" Ganyu called, trying to give chase. However, the mystery animo user boy is too sneaky and helps Traveler escape. But Ganyu does not give up, and soon, Traveler meets them again in Julian Karst. Ganyu jumps to conclusions, seeing them first with Mooncarver, which results in a fight with Traveler, winning, and once again, fleeing the scene. But Ganyu still gives chase, but eventually loses their trail before Traveler heads for Wangshu-in. With frustration, Ganyu goes back to Liyue, only to find she's been ordered to stand down. It isn't until the events with the Lord of the Vortex do Ganyu and the Traveler meet again, and the misunderstanding is cleared. Just like with Cryo Ganyu, we know she aids Traveler, giving some of her Adeptus power to them. But unlike then, this Ganyu has jumped into the fray alongside Traveler and Keqing, laughing in delight as she rips through the Fatui attackers like a hot knife through butter. With the ordeal taken care of, Ganyu ends up becoming a good friend of Traveler's, and a valued sparring partner. We see her here and there throughout Traveler's adventures, just like with Cryo Ganyu, only we see her more often. As a unit, Pyro Ganyu is a hard-hitting polearm user that is fast and nimble on her feet, her canon signature weapon being the Dragon's Bane. Her Pyro Lotus functions not too differently from Cryo's, with an exception. It's capable of trapping her foes in a ring of fire, dealing AoE damage. Her ultimate forms a charging Asian dragon, much like Diluc's burst, but it flies up to crash onto the enemy from above, dealing massive damage. For food, Pyro Ganyu loves her meat and noodles, and has a bit of a sweet tooth. Her favorite being mooncakes, and calls her dish Burning Resolution, which boosts attack and movement speed. They look like 3 colored mooncakes with flower patterns when she mixed them. Her constellation as Pyro is also different from her Cryo counterpart, and forms what looks like a little dragon holding a pearl. The constellation is called Draco Minor, meaning Little Dragon, fitting considering her origins. Well, that's pretty much about it as we take a step out from this looking glass. Was this something you enjoyed? I hope to do more Elemental Vision swap alternate realities in the future. We may even tease future Vision swaps later down the road. What element do you think your favorite characters would be if their circumstances had been different? Let me know down below. Also, I have one more final announcement before I end today's video. I want to give a big shout out to the artists that provided the Pyro Ganyu and the amazing illustrated Pyro background. Thank you Shirokuro and SmilerB2. This video couldn't have been possible without your help. I will leave their fivers in the description below. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and close the Tevachinary on this Pyro terrific universe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the future for more Genshin Impact content and lore.